everyone, welcome to another episode of Alumni Stories. I'm Sanjana, the host. Today we have two very interesting alumni with us from the batch from SIAS. Urvi Bhatia, who graduated in 2024 with a BSc Honours in Psychology, and Shreya Kabadi, who graduated with an Economics major. Right. Welcome both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's get straight into the questions. Right. So Urvi, beginning with you, you wore so many hats at Krea, right? You were part of the student government, you were chair of student government, you're also a musician, who has performed quite a bit at Krea, and a lot of things along with academics. So how does it feel being on the other side now that you're back as an employee? And did you always think that this was something that was going to happen?
For starters, no, this was not at all part of the plan. Actually, there wasn't a plan when I was at Krea. I just knew that I came in, decided with what major I wanted to do, and that is pretty much it. It is all go with the flow. And to answer your question about how it feels like being on the other side, I think you will relate with this when I say that it gives you a lot of perspective into how processes and offices work, like why some things are the way they are. And yeah, I think that has been the biggest shift, because even when I was in the student government, the way we would work with the administration, the way we would work with students, work for the students, was like, it was very demand, and we want answers, we want things immediately. Being on the other side makes you understand why, again, some things are the way they are, why some things take time and there is a lot of scope for improvement still. But yeah, I think it has made me a more patient person, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Coming to you, I mean, you studied economics at Krea. Plus, you also do a lot of photography on the side when you're here at Krea. How did that mix happen, and what kind of an individual do you see yourself, being?
Right. So I think it started pretty early on. So I was clear that I was interested in economics after my class 12. And post that, I realized my interest is also inclining towards environmental studies because of there was also COVID that hit after college, after PUC, after class 12. And that gave me a big pause, and major environmental disasters were happening at the time. And I kept wondering, where do I see myself after 4 years or 5 years? And what kind of career path do I want to choose? That led me to thinking, oh, can I study both environmental studies as well as economics, right? And I kept exploring, and thankfully I found Krea then. And I could do exactly what I intended to do, and I ended up doing an economics major because I was inclined towards public policy and macroeconomics, and I ended up doing concentration in environmental studies and took a lot of courses there. And alongside, I think photography and documentation happened because I think I'm a very good observer. I'm very keen in observing what's happening around me. So my fascination towards ants and capturing them started back at home. And when I came here, there's so much happening on campus. There's so many species. So I just ended up capturing everything. And slowly, so one day I just thought of, oh, can I get a camera from Media Lab? And one day I just got a camera, and I went to shoot one of the events happening on campus. And that led to another event, another, and so on. And by the end of the year, all I knew was I documented most of the events in the last 2 years of the college. And I was the photographer for every event. And so that way, I think documentation became a part of how I experienced the campus and how I wanted to capture the story that's happening there. So yeah, everything just came naturally.
Very interesting. Of course, environmental sciences and photography you have a lot of scope and options there to capture whatever you said. Okay. To both of you guys take us back a bit. What drew you both to your respective disciplines, and looking at your time at Krea overall, how do you think it shaped the path that has led you to where you are now?
So I think, as I said, like I think I was head clear that I wanted to do something at the intersection of economics and environmental studies. And thanks to all the professors on campus who guided me, who introduced me to a lot of people who could then further tell me what's happening on the other side, on the industry side, right? So there was a professor, Samajit Bhar, and he introduced me to a couple of students who were already working in the field of corporate sustainability at the time. And speaking to them and speaking to a few more people in the industry gave me an insight that what kind of work is happening there. And the CSO also helped me along, and they found someone in their network who had started a company. It was very initial back then. So I became part of that company, and I started interning with them pretty early on in the second year. And I enjoyed the work, and I interned with them again in third year, and then eventually that got converted to a job. So it led me to where I wanted to be. So then I ended up being in the field of corporate sustainability, and it's been 2 years now, almost 2.5. So currently I work as a corporate sustainability consultant, but again, over the years, this sustainability as a field is a silo which has unpacked and it's become more niche. And now I'm headed to a journey where I will be taking up a role where my job will be to engage with the supply chain of an organization and the decarbonization efforts in the supply chain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You?
So I started I knew I wanted to pursue psychology. I had it in high school, so that is something that I was set on. I think the foundation year, even though like most of it was online, that really opened up like a world of new possibilities for me, because COVID batch, first 2 trimesters online, yes. But I do like distinctly remember like coming from like a conventional CBSE schooling background all my life, being thrown into like, you know, courses like WOC, ethics, philosophy, subjects that I hadn't really delved into before, like in a classroom setting. In a classroom setting. And literature and the arts also, because science student, CBSE again, so very boxed, you know, very specific textbook learning. So like that really shaped my perspectives, gave me a lot of exposure, and I had peers who seemed to like know what they were doing. So at times that made me feel sort of, okay, maybe I should get my head back in the game. Eventually, at the end of 3 years, I did realize, like, and especially now when I look back, I did realize that I took great courses with like really lovely professors, but most of my experiences outside of the classroom, whether it was student government, whether it was being a part of like the outreach team as a student ambassador, interning with ILS back then, or like my internships outside, it is like these or like the summer school program, the inaugural summer school program that I worked on. It's like these experiences working with the incoming students for their orientation planning, organizing, you know, all of these like hands-on experiences that like taught me a lot more. And I still know that I want to continue even while graduating, and like even now I want to continue in the field of mental health, somewhere along the lines of like where mental health and education intersect. So that is there. But basically, that's how psychology led me to like graduate with a liberal arts degree. I did a lot of courses in biology, business studies, pottery, which was new back then. I never thought I would do like a credited course on pottery. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I think very therapeutic experience. So definitely recommend a pottery course for anyone who's studying here. And while I was graduating, again, there was a lot of uncertainty because I had some of my peers who knew where they wanted to head for their masters. I knew I was not ready back then. So I was looking at jobs, and I was tracking mental health organizations across the country and basically cold emailing them. And thankfully I came across, thankfully I got a call back from Amaha Health, who is now one of India's leading private mental health organizations. And like spent 14 months working with them and opened up again a whole new world of opportunities in the mental health sector, how it actually works in practice in India. So everything that I learned back in my courses, whether it's clinical psychology or even the strategy and innovation business course that I did, actually applying that to like my first ever real adult job, that was a great experience.
I also wanted to ask you, backtrack a little bit. You were part of the student government as well, right? And that's not something, it's not an opportunity that a lot of students take up very easily. How has that experience been for you? And what has it taught you, maybe in terms of how you approach mental health in a way, or it's not a direct connection, but...
I mean, I do know that that year was very taxing. It was, I did end up quite burnt out. Shreya knows, I did end up quite burnt out at the end of it, but I always knew at every point that I have to be curious. I have to look out for my batchmates, my juniors, everyone who's basically elected me to this position of representation. And I think just every day striving towards building a better community, whether it involves fighting, which I still am, except I'm a part of the administration now that I used to fight with. But I think it's been a wholesome experience, but I would definitely, when connecting that to the mental health part of it aspect, I would definitely say that if I could tell Urvi from 2022 one thing, it would be to manage your time better and set better boundaries.
Awesome. I mean, off the charts, you both are here now, and it's rare for us to have two alumni on the same stage. I mean, do you guys think that at any point, or even today, you pick cues or points from your careers? I mean, is there an intersection
from each other's careers?
I think
today,
I would say that I don't think there's a lot of intersection in terms of the fields itself, because they're way apart. But I think in terms of skills, I think it goes unsaid that, but we have so many skills that are so core to both of our jobs, which are soft skills, or being a team player. How do you manage a team? I think since both of us have sort of started some sort of community, or managed a community on campus, so then working with teams and then engaging with them and trying to build something new, critically thinking about it. I think all of them, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, and like she said, in terms of the core, the jobs that we do or the fields that we're in, that might not intersect as much, but there are other traits that I see her work on, or whether it's the fellowship that she took on, and I saw her closely work and so passionately also, and I love the way that she documents everything. I think that literally and metaphorically, the lens that she has, the attention to detail, the observation skills, that is definitely something that I learned from her.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, to you, I mean, you run programs like peer support and gender and consent advocacy, training students now to hold space for their peers. What does the training actually involve, and what's something it taught you that you didn't expect to learn?
That's thank you for asking that question. That's all I've been doing for the last 1 month, and running the programs also for a larger time, but last 1 month has just been the training. Trainings. So the peer support and gender advocacy consent volunteers, which I work with the rest of the ILS team, basically they are meant to be they're trained first responders, but they're basically a point of contact for any student who knows that they're struggling, they could use some help, but they don't know whom to go to when it comes to mental health, when it comes to just it doesn't even have to be sometimes
any trouble.
Any struggle of sorts. It can be the feeling of isolation that does creep in sometimes on this campus, or you're not knowing what to do with the time that they have outside of classrooms, and so all of these struggles that they do face, there are these people who are trained to be there for them, hold space, like you said, for them. And the gender and consent advocacy volunteers primarily work towards prevention of sexual harassment policies on campus, the extensive ICC policy that we have. They work on actually sort of trying to help students practice, put it into practice, break it down, because that can be a very overwhelming and exhausting process. And nobody deserves to go through it, but also nobody deserves to go through it by themselves. So that is the intention, and that is basically the basic empathy and skills that we look for when we are like in the training process and interviewing these candidates. And these two programs, in addition to these two programs, and in addition to the Residence Life team's new program, which is the resident assistants. So basically it's 3 sets of student volunteers which are like an extension of the wellness network on campus. And the aim is essentially just to like have that sense of community, you know, encourage them to be there for each other. And I think I learn a lot because I'm training them on how to, you know, build inclusive events by design, or how to make the campus more accessible, yes, in terms of infrastructure, but also in terms of how you interact outside of the classrooms, whether it's through club activities or whatever medium. And how to have these conversations like with your peers, yes, one-on-one, but also in larger settings. So these, like going through these trainings, all of the reflection exercises that we do, all of the fun activities that we like do these trainings through, they teach me a lot, because sometimes like each individual brings like different perspectives, different experiences with them, and I think that's always a learning opportunity. So I always take back, I think, more than what I give in the trainings.
That's wonderful. I mean, after graduating, you took up a really interesting fellowship with Nagarika. So can you talk a little bit about what that fellowship was like and what it entailed and stuff like that?
Sure. After my graduation, so I came across this fellowship called Nagarika. So it's an organization based in Dehradun, and what it does is it's involved in research and documentation of issues from smaller cities in India. And the way they're doing it is they're trying to equip the fellows, where they were trying to equip these fellows, and these fellows were from the smaller cities of India. And through them, they wanted to put across the challenges in their cities. So I was chosen among other applicants, and I got selected as one of their fellows. So there were 12 fellows across India. And what we essentially did was we went through extensive training for 3 months, and the rest of the 3 months were about documenting the issues happening in the smaller city in our hometown. So I was from Hubli. So I extensively documented the urban infrastructural issues, the dust issues happening, and the outcome of this fellowship was to create a city vision document that was led by citizens. So it was one of a kind document that got published on the platform of Nagarika, that really captures what citizens envision for themselves and for the city in the coming time. And the experience was enriching because I got to engage with a lot of stakeholders on ground and learn the challenges from their end, and how are they dealing with it, and where do they actually see the city going in the coming times. And I think along the way, while I was doing it was always in the back of my head. My city was always in the back of my head.
Where you come from.
So it actually, interestingly, it connects back to the creative
the creative project that we had in CE.
Oh, so yeah, there was a creative project in CE.
Professor Swarnamalya, we were in the same class.
Yeah, it feels like a full circle moment for me, because while I was in my first year, there was a course called Creative Expression, and the end term assignment for that was to document something, or to build a creative project on some topic. So what I ended up doing was I knew what issues concerned me about my city, and I ended up documenting something vaguely about, oh, look at this problem. And I spoke to some doctors and some people on the ground, and it was like a very nascent stage of that project that I wanted to really convey and put across. And I did that, and I always revisited that problem every time through some of the courses that I did in Krea, in politics courses, in some of the environmental studies courses. So I always somehow circle back to the issues happening in my hometown through the courses that I ended up doing in Krea. Like one of the courses was sustainable development, climate change and sustainability, and then there was environmental economics, and then there was also a program on documentation. So yes, one of the courses that really also shaped me in all of this was with Professor Anurag. We did a documentary, introduction to documentary filmmaking. And we extensively got trained on how to use camera equipments, how to convey a story, what kind of documentaries exist. So it was my window to the world of documentation, especially on environmental issues and social issues interconnected. Just the culmination of, so I had an issue, and coming here, it gave me a framework and academic guidance to think about it in a very structured manner. And I wanted to use all of that and do something. And then I landed at Nagarika, where again, it was a more fast-forward approach to learning more about governance aspects of the city, as well as what's happening on ground. And then using the documentation that I've learned, everything just culminated in the vision document with a lot of photographs that we've attached, and also the stories that came into the play. So yeah, that happened.
Yeah, people should check it out.
They will, I guess. Yeah. Okay, we come to a very fun rapid fire round. Okay, one song you would play to calm someone down?
A song I'd play.
Because you're a...
Yeah.
Quick. Yes, rapid.
Yeah. Too much pressure. I think, okay, currently maybe I might play Shore Gul. It's a song by Swan and Kirkire.
You should play me that.
I will play you that.
You begin with Shreya.
Yes.
A photo you're most proud of taking?
So I put up a couple of exhibits, and I think one of the photographs that I'm proud of, I think those are all of the photographs that I'm proud of, but if I had to stick something apart from that, there was one of the competition hosted by IIIT. It was a national level photography fest, and I did a product photo shoot there, and it got me to win the competition and at a national level. So I think that is quite memorable for me.
Awesome. I want to see the photo.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you both. We come to the end of this alumni stories session. It was amazing having Urvi and Shreya in this episode. Stay tuned for more coming your way.
Thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you.